keep that same energy. You're gonna call me a sorry ass and I'm pathetic, things of that nature. I'm trifling. If I ever come across him, keep that same energy.
The world of the sports media industry drama has literally hit fifth gear in the past week after the recent back and forth between former longtime friends Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens. T.O. recently responded back as he made an appearance on the All the Smoke podcast. So for those of you who aren't in the know, this all started after Stephen A. Smith made an appearance on the Joe Budden podcast and retold the story of how he did not want to continue working with Max Kellerman on First Take and ultimately gave the ESPN head honchos an ultimatum to choose between him or Max. So many people on Twitter were discussing the Joe Budden interview, with one person video tweeting the time T.O. told Stephen A. that Max was blacker than him. And sure enough, Terrell out of nowhere responded to the tweet and wrote facts. And this started a barrage of response tweets from Stephen A. slamming his old pal T.O. and calling him out for trying to sue him and his employer ESPN, and threatened to expose Terrell on his podcast the following Monday. This drew a response out of T.O., who said he had nothing tied and that Stephen A. got Max fired and that he was on Team Max. Then last Monday, Stephen A. uploaded a video to his YouTube channel and discussed the issues he had with T.O. Here are the main points from that 27-minute diatribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we stopped talking because after you saw that hit from Max Kellerman, Terrell Owens tried to sue me. He had lawyers contact ESPN, who obviously contacted me to try and sue me. Needless to say, it was laughable. It never went anywhere. He wasn't getting a damn dime, which he was hoping to get. That's why I was pissed off Saturday. Because I haven't spoken to him since that day, because he tried to sue me. He tried to sit up there and say I did something I've never done in my career. And that is take an off-the-record conversation and publicize it. I have never done that in my career. On the soul of everything I love, I don't do that. I've never done that. I would have never been able to enjoy the success that I've been able to enjoy if I had been that kind of guy. And he damn well knows it. Now, we could speculate as to why he would do something like that, why he would accuse me something like that, why he would get lawyers involved looking for money. I wonder why. Y'all speculate about that. Donovan McNabb, call him. Primetime Deion Sanders, who T.O. was at the game the other day, and for some reason has been on the sidelines with him. Call him. Chris Carter, who T.O. turned his back on when he went to shake his hand in a room full of Hall of Famers to welcome him to the Hall of Fame, turned his back on Chris Carter in front of a room of Hall of Famers. Ask him. Ask Michael Irvin. Ask them all. Kyrie Irving was right. In fairness, I spoke to Primetime. Primetime was right. Shannon Sharp was right. Cats from the Players Association and the NFL and the league office was right. Contemporaries in the NFL, they were all right. Stephen A., don't go at T.O. like that. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to do it.
Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a bit and play T.O.'s response from the All the Smoke podcast hosted by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Have a listen to T.O. and I'll break everything down afterwards.
Right, so I guess there was something going on. I guess we were talking about the Kaepernick situation, and somehow there was a text exchange between me and him.
Between you and Stephen A?
Me and Stephen A.
Okay.
And he, on air, he mentioned something about the text, which I didn't give him consent to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had
that's one rule. If somebody texts you or any type of conversation text, you do not share that on social media or none of that, bro. You just, especially the person don't know.
Unless you have clearance. Right, exactly. The honest, I didn't go out of my way to go file a lawsuit. I had an attorney that reached out to me, like, yo, that's not right. It's copyright infringement, something along those lines.
Gotcha. Oh, so someone just reached out, an attorney came and found you about it and said, do you want to pursue action
this is what happens, like, he can't do that. So it wasn't really him, it was I looked at ESPN. Okay. ESPN has dogged me over the years, mischaracterized me, having people having misunderstandings about who I am, whether as far as my character is concerned. Everybody's talking about I'm arrogant, I'm selfish. Of course, I've had disagreements with some players, some coaches, but who hasn't?
Okay, so what I know about T.O. is something that Shannon Sharpe once said on Undisputed way back when Terrell was looking to get into the Hall of Fame. Just based off his childhood and relationship with family members, Shannon always said that Terrell was someone who never forgets. He's the type of guy who will hold a grudge to his grave.
And I've always said this, and I knew this about him the very first time I met him and talked to him. If T.O. feel you've ever wronged him, he'll never forgive you for it.
You saw it with the Hall of Fame voters when he refused to attend the ceremony after they made him wait 3 years before getting inducted. There's also the drama he had with most of the teams he played for, whether it be former teammates, coaches, or coordinators. Trouble has mainly followed T.O. around. Therefore, I kinda understand why he sued ESPN. They did him wrong so many times, all those stories and reports they wrote about him in the past. Things like his sideline outbursts being divisive, meanwhile those same outbursts from Tom Brady or Peyton Manning would be viewed as passion or leadership. On top of that, Stephen A. publicly released private messages between him and T.O. on the air. I don't recall the context of these messages, but Smith knows better. Heck, he even said it himself not too long ago.
Let me call out Michael Rappaport. Bro, you violated all types of street code. You know the rules. That was a private message from Kevin Durant to yourself. You had no business making it public.
I don't know for what reason he disclosed these text messages on the air, but even his excuse was pretty pathetic when he said he thought they were public tweets he was disclosing and not private messages. Come on, man, you're a journalist.
Back to my point. The attorney reached out. He said, "This is what we're gonna do." He went after ESPN. He submitted the file or the claim to ESPN, and that's how things started. But for him to say and allude or insinuate that it's a money grab or something like that, that's not cool. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To insinuate, oh, I'm broke, this and that and the other, because these are certain things, like I said, that it is personal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's no secret. I was represented by Drew and Jason Rosenhaus. They referred me to Pro Sports Financial, who's a financial advisor, and Jeff Rubin. It's public knowledge, bro. I got taken advantage of. They stole a lot of my money. Mm-hmm. Anybody that knows me, I didn't just go blow my money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So yeah, do I have the millions that I had back then? Absolutely not. But for him to go on TV and insinuate certain these things that I did X, Y, Z, and I'm desperate, that's not cool, bro.
I'm not nobody's business.
I'm not gonna let that slide. So at the end of the day, and I called him, I told him, yo, keep that same energy. You're gonna call me a sorry ass and I'm pathetic, things of that. I'm trifling. If I ever come across him, keep that same energy. It's not a threat, but you're not gonna use that platform to downgrade me as a person and what I've accomplished for your benefit. And Stephen A., he's walking around like just because ESPN has padded his pockets with some millions, he's walking around like he's us, like he's an athlete, like he got that kind of cachet. And then, like I said, mentioning guys that obviously I think highly of, talking about Dion and Shannon and these guys I come across with, on a regular. You know what I mean? That's not cool to be name dropping. You know what I mean? Because now I'm around these guys and I'm like, okay, well, how do they really feel about me? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How do they think about me? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Somebody sent me a clip of some of the things that he said, and he's like, oh, he's not a liar, he's not this, he's not that. And again, the thing is the insinuation that, I'm doing stuff for money. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I don't have the same amount of money because I got taken.
But that ain't nobody business, T.O.
But that's what I'm saying. He made it everybody business. Now he got people looking at me sideways. And then even with the lawsuit thing, I showed you guys. Mm-hmm. He admittedly, in the text, from our text exchange, he's like, oh, I'm mistaking your text for a tweet.
Yeah.
That's what the attorney was referring to. Mm-hmm. He admitted that. Mm-hmm. I showed you guys that. Yep. That's in our text conversation. Yep. I ain't got no reason to lie about nothing. Mm-hmm. And I ain't got nothing to hide. He can sit on ESPN, use all the big words he wants to impress everybody. That doesn't impress me. Now, like I said, he's used that platform to tear some black athletes down. And even I'm included that. You try to build them up, tear them down with your words, this and that and the other, your monologues. Bro, I can see past all of that. But you're not finna just do it to me. A lot of guys are not gonna say anything.
No, I feel you. I mean, shit, he still on me apology for the way he talked about me with the broad shit.